Invincible Season 2 opening scene surprises viewers. The action soon takes a far darker turn, but for a brief minute it appears as though Mark Grayson Invincible is fighting with the Immortal, the superhero his father killed twice. After the Immortal is swiftly eliminated by Omni-Man, we find out that Mark and his father have now teamed up to enslave the Earth in the name of the Viltrumite Empire. While playing propaganda over the demolished dystopia of America, Omni-Man and Invincible present themselves as kind leaders. But Angstrom Levy is spotted slinking through the city, reaching out to the remnants of the Guardians of the Globe and their resistance movement, which includes Adam Eve, one of the group's surviving leaders, and Rudy Connor's robot. Sadly, Angstrom takes Omni-Man and Invincible to the resistance base, where they engage in a brief combat before the Guardians are defeated. In the struggle, Robot and Connors are slain and Mark executes the merciful action of paralyzing Eve by snapping her neck just enough, a move that he reportedly studied intensely before mastering. Levy uses a portal to escape, exposing this to be a parallel timeline in which Mark joined his dad rather than opposing him. The remaining members of the Resistance are then gathered up for execution. A month after the terrible Season 1 finale and its epilogue, we get a montage set to Radiohead's Karma Police that helps establish the new status quo back in Invincible's prime reality. In an apparent attempt to distract himself from his evident depression, Mark is seen going to the mountainside, where his father almost killed him, fighting a villain dressed like an elephant, akin to Spider-Man villain the Rhino, stopping a high-speed robbery, and assisting an ambulance in getting to the emergency room. But after a confrontation with two antagonists, Mark starts having flashbacks that show he hasn't fully recovered from his tragedy. A news report that Mark and his wife Debbie are unable to view centers on Chicago and the cleanup operations following Omni-Man's rampage. Despite the fact that the mother and son embrace, it's obvious that Nolan Omni-Man's betrayal has caused some distance between them. The Mahler twins are in the midst of lobbying Pete, their favorite jail guard, for better food when they notice that Angstrom Levy's Green Gateway is present in each of their cells. The Mahlers discover that they are on top of Pete's charred body amid the prison's wreckage. They meet Levy and soon realize that his superpower is creating gateways between different realms. Levy claims to be good and a pacifist, and he offers the unbelieving Mahlers a chance to join forces in order to accomplish a remarkable scientific achievement, or he can abandon them and leave them alone in a hellscape. The Mahlers dislike being subservient once more, but they fall for the ruse. Mark had to pretend to be a distraught son who lost his father in the Omni-Man attack when he is back to school, which at least helps to end his rivalry with long-standing bully Todd. Amber tries to reason with Mark about his mental state, but it's obvious that he's overwhelmed with guilt about everything. From not stopping his father to receiving compassion, even though he, Invincible, contributed to the devastation. Mark has a meeting at Burger Mart with GD director Cecil to talk about putting the shackles of his civilian persona behind and pursuing a full-time career as Invincible. Cecil, on the other hand, shoots it down, informing Mark that his emotional healing is a facade. Mark loses his temper and demonstrates what he is trying to hide, that he is just as dangerous as his father. Cecil returns to the GDA, where a newborn giant is being fought as part of a Guardians of the Globe operation. While it may seem that Robot, Rex, Duplicate, Shrinking Ray, Black Samson and Monster Girl are functioning more cohesively than before, Rudy, who is now sporting an armor suit named Robot, has an incident that raises the possibility that his newly created human body is not perfect. The behemoth almost flattens Rudy, but his Bill Monster Girl saves him. Angstrom Levy describes how he has traveled the multiverse and used resources on different Earths to find answers to all the troubled Earths out there. The Mahlers are working with him on his invention. Levy discloses that he possesses an army of his own variations that are dispersed around his home dimension and other safe house dimensions, providing him with intelligence from the multiverse. He wants the Mahler twins to construct a machine that will replicate Levy's variant's mental data and fuse it into a single expansive blueprint inside his own brain, transforming him into the kind-hearted center of all realities. The Mahler twins will receive their wish to live on a superhero-free Earth and be revered in return. Deborah receives a visit from Olga, the speedster hero Red Rush's wife. Back at the Grayson residence, Debbie and Olga discuss their complex feelings and their shared anger at Nolan for deceiving them and blowing both of their marriages. Olga tells Debbie to help her son by helping herself after Mark arrives home, but Debbie is obviously not ready to hear this advice. Cecil may be seen shooing the new Guardians of the Globe out in their headquarters for their careless handling of the baby giant attack, To strike a balance, Cecil chooses to bring in two new players, the seasoned squad commander the Immortal and the hero Bulletproof, whose name suggests that he possesses invulnerability skills. Rudy acknowledges that his new clone body might require development and accepts his demotion. At school, Mark reconnects with Adam Eve, and the two of them discuss his father difficulties. Mark responds that Cecil cannot see the differences in him, despite Eve's attempts to reassure him. Mark responds positively to Eve's challenge to show Cecil how strong he is by offering to work for the GDA. His hiring coincides with the announcement of a worldwide emergency. Angstrom, Levy, and the Mahler twins complete the gadget that will assist Levy in integrating the collective knowledge of all of his variations. After warning Levy about the risk of stopping the procedure before it's finished, the switch is thrown. Levy is first developing as expected, that is, until Invincible appears. Mark begins fighting the Mahler twins after Cecil orders him to stop the operation. While he is confined to the chair, Levy attempts to convince Invincible that he is fighting for the greater good. To the twins' astonishment, Levy unleashes a full goon squad of variation Maulers, and they band together to take on Invincible when the latter refuses to accept that. Levy is unable to put up with the violence displayed by the Mauler variations when they tie Invincible up and beat the living daylights out of them. In the middle of the transfer, he stops and takes off his thought processing helmet, and the entire lab blows up. Mark makes it through, but not before becoming traumatized by all the death and damage he seems to be involved in. When the Guardians of the Globe show up, Rex tells Mark, with Cecil's reluctant assent, that he fought the good struggle and shouldn't feel bad about it. In a brief period of uncommon adolescent normalcy, Mark returns home and attempts to tend to his mom's needs before taking on yet another significant life challenge: college acceptance letters. Amber manipulates Mark into opening her upstate university acceptance letter, but she doesn't think he wants to continue living a normal civilian life with her, so she wonders what he hopes his note will say. Following a kiss, Mark discovers he's been accepted as well, and the two share a joyful moment. This joy lasts until Mark discovers the Immortal is pursuing him while out for a late-night stroll. The Immortal makes it clear that he will be keeping an eye on Mark and is unsure of his allegiances. One of the Mahler twins, while with half of his body scarred like Batman's Two-Face, survives Angstrom Levy's machine exploding, as we learn in the credits scene. It is also revealed that Levy survived the experiment, albeit at a price. Levy's brain resembles the elongated, lumpy monstrosity that is the leader from the Hulk, only grosser. Even more unsettling is the realization that Levy has blended together all of his different identities, many of which originate from the dystopian world first glimpsed in the episode. After multiple fake-outs, we finally receive the blood-spattered title logo, as this new Levy swears to murder Invincible. Rather than blood spatter, the title logo for this season has an unsettling animation of a wall that is beginning to show fractures. It appears to be a blatant and sinister hint that Levy's interdimensional schemes may bring about a far worse disaster.